like to call this meeting the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners to order for the 8th of July, 2024. If you will please silent or mute your cell phones. All who are able, please stand for our invocation, followed by our pledge. Commissioner Robbins? Yep.
Let us pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity that we live in this country. We thank you for all your blessings. Dear Father, we thank you again for our country, a country that where we live and call home. We are truly blessed, and we recognize that our nation needs your help. But dear Father, we just thank you for this great community we live in and serve in. Dear Father, we just pray for our communities. Go with us and guide us. We pray now for all those sailors, soldiers, Marines, Coast Guard, defending our country at home and abroad. Again, thank you for letting us serve you. And dear Father, go with us and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, may the record reflect we have all 5 commissioners present and our quorum has been met. Our agenda was sent out before the 4th of July holidays about 5 days ago. The only item I know is that our Employee of the Month for May cannot make it, so she will be here next month in August. But were there any other changes or additions to the agenda?
Make a motion we approve it as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. The minutes were also sent out last week. Was there any questions? Well, I'm sorry, the consent agenda. Let me do that one first. There was only one item on their consent agenda related to our purchases and budget amendments from last month's meeting that we approved. It's the only item on there. Now for the minutes, those were also sent out last week. Any changes or corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor to approve the minutes, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. As I mentioned, she will be here next month to receive the Employee of the Month. And we do have one public hearing tonight for an alcohol application from Brown's Convenience Store. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor? I'll declare this hearing open. Anyone in favor of this application? Anyone have a concern or like to speak against this application? Going once, twice. All right, the hearing is closed. Now we'll do the report for each commissioner. If you weren't able to attend retirement of our chief of over 10 years, his last day was July 1st. And just wanted to congratulate him again on his retirement. I already ran into him at the hardware store with his wife. He did slip me a note about something coming back. I don't know what that's about, but no, he seemed to be enjoying the first week so far. And we're going to continue in his legacy tonight with some additional investments in our fire department and some equipment that we're going to order later in the meeting. So congratulations to our former chief. Anything for you, Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Commissioner Staton?
No, sir.
Commissioner Robbins?
Not tonight.
All right. Our county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few things to report on tonight. The first one is broadband internet expansion and grants training. I know that for a lot of people in the public, perhaps people watching this on Facebook, think that this is kind of a nerdy topic, but actually it affects everyone, their pocketbook. The more we can get other people to pay for your government, the less that you'll have to go ahead and pay. As far as broadband internet, I know that the chairman and I were at a meeting, I believe last week at Edwards Park, a community meeting on expanding broadband high-speed internet here in Whitfield County. One of the problems that we have is that without access to broadband internet, and the pandemic made this very clear, it really affects people's ability for education because a lot of schools taught remotely. It also affects commerce because You may have all noticed that many merchants no longer accept cash or discourage cash. They want credit card transactions. Well, those credit card transactions are impossible if you don't have good internet connection. So that acts as a drag on our economy and our education. So what we're trying to do here in Whitfield County is we're viewing internet the same way that Americans viewed electricity a century ago, is no longer a luxury, but a necessary utility. So we're working hard to expand that. And I want to go ahead and say that Whitfield County was only one of 3 communities in the tri-state region, and the tri-state region comprised of southeast Tennessee, northwest Georgia, and northeast Alabama, to be awarded a grant for internet expansion, and we've been invited to participate in the Appalachian Digital Accelerator. Without getting too deeply into that, that's a program that enables places like Whitfield County to greatly expand people's access to high-speed broadband internet in order to make their lives better and also to improve our economy and our educational system. So I want to go ahead and thank the people involved in that, because that's just that's fantastic, proactive, good government. The other thing I want to talk about was the Van House Day, and I guess maybe I'm going off the topic a bit, because we're going across the Conasauga River to the Van House. The Van House, as many of you know, is probably the oldest structure in northwest Georgia. It was completed in 1804. It was the home of both Chiefs Van until the Cherokee removal in the 1830s. Every year they have an open house, so to speak, for people to go ahead and visit that. There are a number of activities there. They have a quilting demonstration in the visitor center. You can tour the Van House from roof to cellar. I will tell you, for a building that's well over 200 years old, it would be a fine house today, let alone in the early 1800s. On the south lawn, they have demonstrations of chair caning, woodworking. Inside the kitchen building, they have a demonstration of butter churning, and upstairs they have spinning cotton on a wheel. They also have demonstrations of early American and Cherokee methods of food preservation, master gardening, medicinal herbs, farming techniques, and they will have a blacksmith on site. That poor guy will be out there in the summer heat with that furnace, showing you how things were done way back in the day. And this is something that Whitfield County promotes, even though it's a facility that's owned by the Georgia state parks. It's an integral part of this area's community, so I encourage everybody to attend. Now, I will tell you that will take place on Saturday, July 27th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I encourage you to take the kids, the grandkids out there as well. It's very educational, and it is fun, and there are things that are educational and fun, and this is one of them. The admission is $7, but for the low cost of $10, you can gain membership as a member of the Friends of the Van House, and that will enable you not only to go to this event, but other events throughout the year, including the Christmas candlelight event that they have, which is very, very beautiful around the holiday season. Now, Mr. Chairman, if you'll indulge me, like the fellow in the infomercial says, but wait, there's more. And there is more, because this morning, and this is why, Mr. Chairman, I wasn't able to pass this along to you this weekend. This morning I received an email from an organization named Gaza, and I know that that's probably an organization that needs to change their name, but it's an acronym that stands for Georgia Association of Zoning Administrators. And the person who does zoning administration here for Whitfield County and does it also for the city of Dalton is our own Jean Garland. And I didn't tell Jean I was going to do this, because I knew if she knew I was going to do this, she wouldn't show up tonight. So yes, Jean, I pulled the wool over your eyes. But this morning, we received word from Gaza, which is a statewide association for zoning, that Whitfield County has been awarded the 2024 award for our efforts, along with the city of Dalton, for the urban PUD, the Urban Planned Unit Development, or UPUD. For those of you who are not familiar with it, if you go down Hamilton Street south, there's an old site. It's about, let me see, 3.2 acres. There was an old Mohawk building on there that was demolished. It was deeded to the city of Dalton. for green space. The city of Dalton didn't put a park in there because the surrounding area wasn't really conducive for a park. So what Whitfield County and what the city of Dalton did is we looked at this what would seemingly be a useless piece of property, and we made lemonade out of lemons. So what we've gone ahead and done is put together a plan where 39 single-family homes will be put on that 3.2 acres. There will be 9 different housing options. These homes will be good, solid, single-family homes at an affordable rate. And in that way, we go ahead and we address the severe housing crisis that we have here in Whitfield County and throughout the country. And we will be in Augusta in August to receive that award. But I want to also say, and I know I sometimes I come off as a braggart, but it's, as I always tell people, and I learned this from my high school coaches, it's not bragging if you can back it up. And Whitfield County backs it up. We are creative, we are innovative, we solve problems, and quite honestly, with this and with the award from ACCG that we received earlier this year, this county, which is certainly not one of the biggest counties in the state, but we are setting the pace, we are setting the tone for other counties for excellence, and we are being emulated. And you should all be proud of that because Whitfield County is a leader, and that's a credit not only to the elected officials and to the staff, but to all of you as well. So I just wanted to finish on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Congratulations, Gene. Now, Ms. Godfrey for our financial report.
Okay, let's talk about May. Through May, we've collected $6.31 million in sales tax. We've collected $2.47 million in vehicle tax or TAV tax. Our total revenue collections are $16.3 million, and our total expenses have been $25.9 million. As I said, our total revenue through May 31st was $16.4 million, and our projected year-to-date revenue was $16.1 million. In '23, for the same period, we were at $18.3 million.
I think there were some one-time bonus or one-time payments we had in that 18 million last year, if I recall. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I think so.
I didn't go back.
Yeah, I think we did some ARPA transfers or something that jumped that up for a little bit higher than normal.
Okay, I didn't look back at that. Our total expenditures year-to-date were $25.7 million, and our projected expenditures are $24.3 million. And for the same period last year, our expenditures were $20.9. Now, this one doesn't look as good, but there's some timing issues here. Our year-to-date revenue is $229,000 greater than what we budgeted, and our expenditures, based on what we've budgeted, are $1.6 million higher, which creates this $1.4 million deficit. But that's a timing thing because of the way we budget payroll. You know, we're on 26 pay periods, but the way we do budget, we do it per month. So in May, we had 3 pay periods, which typically we only have 2.
Yeah, last month we had a surplus, but that extra pay period, which is the majority of our cost, wiped it out. So we'll gradually earn that back through the rest of the year.
It will flip back, so it's a
Yep.
timing thing. Then on our fund balance, the actual fund balance for May is $25.9 million, and our projected fund balance, if everything goes the same, would be $32.7 at the end of the year. And then still talking about 2020 SPLOST, our actual receipts for the 2020 SPLOST through May 31st is $84.1 million, and our expenditures are $53.7, and we have collected all of our debt service funds to make the final payment in October.
Any questions on the finances?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve the finances as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Public comment. So this is a public comment on anything on our agenda. that was published ahead of time. Feel free to come forward.
Good evening. My name is Steve Laird. I live at 1513 Habersham Way. I'd like to start out by saying thanks to all of you for your service. I'm here to speak about the proposed rezoning of the Rangel property at the corner of Foster and Dublin. As some of you saw at the meeting for the Planning Committee, there's a lot of people that are opposed to this rezoning. As Ethan Calhoun said, both the Planning Commission and the staff recommendations to deny that rezoning, and we support this position. We feel like the proposed rezoning would conflict with the long-range plan for this area to be a suburban neighborhood with detached single-family homes. Thank you.
Please just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name's Thomas Young. I live on 301 Beulah Drive. I'm not sure how much of it is rumor. That's why I'm here today. On Agenda 17, it says close and abandon a portion of Beulah Drive. The word I got was that they wanted to open up Brooker Drive to come through Beulah Drive and go into Cleveland Highway. Is that true?
No, the only thing on the agenda item is to actually close, not to open or reroute any other roads or streets so far. It would be the unpaved portion of Beulah Drive, if you're familiar with where it kind of
Yeah,
stops and
it
goes
it
in that
dead
turn.
ends and.
More or less a
and-
dead end, then the road changes, I think, to a different name.
Yeah, it changed to a different name.
But it's that gravel portion that's technically part of Beulah Drive is the only thing up for,
Right.
for vote tonight.
Okay.
No rerouting of traffic.
I was
otherwise.
told last year or a year before that the guy that lives out of the subdivision got permission to open that up because there used to be a fence there. And so he's allowed to come in and out of there. We just want to make sure that Beulah doesn't have a back entrance coming off of Brooker Drive because traffic is horrible in there as it is now.
I'm not aware of any plans for that.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
Are you in favor or opposed to the actual closing of that gravel portion?
I-
If there's
I'm-
no other changes involved other
Yeah,
than
if you close it back up,
like it was?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I just, the only thing is I heard that it was gonna be a road going through there to Brooker.
No plans for that.
All
No
right.
plans for that.
If we leave it open, there's no change, right? There's no,
The guy that lives on the property, that got the permission, yeah, to have access into the subdivision to be able to go out on Cleveland Highway, my understanding, it's still open. So if it closes, so the fence goes back up and no access, I'm for that.
It'll be barricaded.
Good,
The Beulah Drive will be barricaded.
I'm for that.
Because you have access from Brooker Drive onto an easement.
Yes,
Same as it is
And then
today.
it-
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
that's the way it is now. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, right now they're using Beulah.
They can do either right now. They can do either option right now. This would eliminate. Yes, sir.
I'm Dwayne Blair, 143 Old Hollow Trail. I'm here to talk about the Beulah Drive as well. I am for closing that. That neighborhood has always been a private neighborhood with just the homes in there. It has now been opened up for one person to come through there to enter out to Cleveland Highway, but he also has access to Brooker Drive. If that is not closed in the future, that road could be opened up through to Brooker Drive and bringing in a whole lot more unwanted traffic because of potential for development of that property. That is a large tract of property back there that is one person lives on that would have the ability to come in and redevelop it
They'd
at
have to-
a
they'd have
future
to
time.
subdivide it, but yes, you're,
Especially once that road is opened up and permanently open. So it does need to be closed just for that neighborhood, not for another neighborhood potentially, or even for somebody who has closer access to get out through to Brooker Drive and that area. So I do believe that needs to be closed permanently, as it has always been closed. Thank you.
My name's Cindy Dillard, and I live on Livingston Way. And we are already, ever since that was opened up, that has been a public road, Livingston Way. Morning, noon, and night, traffic, they come through, speeding, trash all over the road. So if you continue to leave that open, then Livingston Way, his access needs to be closed, because it will remain a public road like it is now. It made it a public road. So,
Is it a public road? Because I thought Gene said.
And we live there too.
It's not
and you should
paved, but
know
it's a public
It's not
road.
paved, it's a private easement's what it was, and he turned it into a public road because traffic is terrible there.
Gotcha.
That's not right.
And he's built another house over there on his property, and. My name's Don Dillard, and I live on Livingston Way, and the traffic is terrible there. And it's worse because cars go in and out, it's more like a piece of a 41 highway ever since they've been there, and it's just dusty. You can't sit out on the porch anymore. So, actually, I would prefer you leave that open and close our easement, but that will never happen. But the traffic it's just awful. So, that's all I got to say.
Our county attorney, what is the official designation of that road as it sits right now?
Unopened right-of-way on a platted subdivision.
Okay. So, yeah, we're calling it a portion, but it's really a right-of-way, for public right-of-way. Okay. Yes, sorry. Just say your name and address, please.
Yes, hello, my name's Reyes Martinez, and I live on 701 Bueller Drive. I purchased my home back in 2016, and I've been there for about 8 years, a little bit over 8 years. So when I bought this home, it was on a dead-end street, and the reason I actually wanted to live in that community is because it was private. Give me a sense of security, low traffic, but since the opening of the passage, to be able to traverse through that unbuilt portion of Beulah Drive, because half of it is paved and the other half is just dirt and gravel, where vegetation used to be. It gives access and passage for other traffic, for animals, because I've seen dogs pass through there, and it becomes a nuisance. The traffic really is more in the evenings and during the weekends, I guess, when people come off at work. That's when children are outside playing soccer, riding their bikes. It puts them at risk. So I see an increment on that side. I coach for Edwards Park for the past 4 years. I coach soccer. So I understand the importance of being outside, but you want to be able to be outside in a safe community. I do understand that it doesn't hinder this family, from going in and out from their property. It wouldn't hinder them at all, but it is putting the community, at risk. So, thank you.
Thank you. Tracy?
My name's Tracy Ward, 609 Murray Hill Drive, Dalton. The last meeting, I represent Brigado Meza, the homeowner, and you gave me an opportunity to present some information. I know all of you weren't here. I'm not going to rehash any of that. I would just say that this road, Beulah Drive, was platted back in the 40s for this subdivision. So it has been open during that period of time. It's never been officially closed. As to who uses it, nobody had occasion to go to the end of it and enter this property except my client, Mr. Meza. He bought it from an individual who I think had plans to develop that into perhaps single-family housing that would have thrown a lot of traffic. Mr. Meza just wants to live there and use this road. I'd mentioned last time about where the school bus stops to let his children off. That would have to be rerouted to off Brooker Drive, because if you do put a barrier up, his children couldn't walk along that road to their home. I think that would be an undue burden. It's not costing the county any money to leave it up. If all these individuals were so concerned about it, Why didn't they contact the sheriff's department? Why didn't they come before this board previously and ask for it to be closed? So I would respectfully request that the board not take any action to close it, leave it open. If it becomes a problem, we have the sheriff's department, we have other law enforcement that can take care of it. But I've heard nothing tonight except speculation, so I would ask you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let her go first.
We have a club there in the subdivision.
Your name and address, please.
Which, I'm sorry, I'm at 401 Beulah Drive, Trella Flood. And I am the president of it now, but the one that was the president of it was sick, and they turned it over to another one. And when I got it, the bylaws had already gone. I couldn't renew them. We have bylaws that there is 5 foot all the way around it that wasn't to be open.
You say a
And I
club
went
is-
to see about it, and they told me I could not do it.
Is it a homeowners association? Is that what you mean? Or what did you mean by a club? You said there was a club.
Well, it's just the ladies there in the community. We meet and we were trying to keep up the road, street markers and things, which we got somebody to put up street markers for us and what. But we try to keep things neat and clean, or have, but all of them's died out or old, and we can't get up there to do things now. But I did try to stop it. I went to them, and they told me I couldn't do it because we had let that lapse. But if I had have known it, well, it lapsed before I got it. If I could, I would have stopped it.
Are you in favor of closing it?
Yes.
Okay, just to be, just
I
to be
live
clear.
on
Okay,
Beulah Drive, and it's like a racetrack up through there, the cars are.
gotcha. Thank you. Let's let this gentleman back here, he was wanting to go next, and we'll grab you right after that. You go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My English is not too good, maybe, and,
That's okay.
you
Just
know.
name, your name and address? Name?
Miguel Nunes, and I live in close to the road, 706 Beulah Drive. And I think, in my opinion, this road need to stay like this, open, because it's good for the children's, the bus, is stop land there. It's good for the children's, everybody, it's closed for everybody land there. One thing. Another thing, everybody blaming the people living land there close to me for open the road. And it's really, there's no reason to blame it, these people, because it's a single family. It's a house, it's one house land there. It's got 3 vehicles. I know, everybody say, it's terrible traffic. Yeah, I know, I live in there. But the traffic is not through this property. I live in the front, I live in 5 foot. So I see how many vehicles into there. It's 3 vehicles. I mean, it's not making no sense to close the road, blame the people for something is not right. I know, I stay there, 706, and I watching the road, Beulah Drive, I watching every day, and I see a lot of people coming through, but there's not the people.
Who are the people? Do you know, or where they're coming from?
Everybody, is one road only for all subdivision. One road to Cleveland Highway. So think about it. It's around 200 or more houses down there. So it's a lot of traffic every single day. But it's not for the people. It's not for me. I'm living down there. It's for the rest of the houses. If you close this road, what do you do? close the road for their people. Why? Because, I mean, I don't see no reason to close it, you know? But, except, you know, it's in my explanation, you know, but
Yeah. Thank you for your feedback.
thank you.
Hello, my name's Carl Price. I live at 107 Hazel Drive. This road, Beulah, there is an intersection at Hazel and Beulah. It's a three-way stop. Cars come through the back road, through Beulah. They blow through that stop sign. They do not stop at all. I can watch 30, 40 cars a day go through there. All right, I only live 100 yards down Hazel Drive. All you have to do is put a K-rail, concrete K-rail up there, block it off. The kids, like this gentleman over here said, they can still walk over there and get the bus. There's no problem. The problem is the cars coming through 35, 40 miles an hour when the speed limit is 25. These guys come out there and they sit where they can see it, but the bad problem is when you're coming down the road, you can spot them, so they stop. That's the thing. If you want to catch these people, put them in an unmarked cop car. And you'll find out how many people come through that stop sign. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
We was at the last meeting, not the one that we didn't know anything about, but we were here before. And Livingston Way is a private easement. It was given to Crawford's as an easement because it was on the way into their property. We get all this traffic, and all this traffic these other people are talking about comes around through our road. It's a private easement, so if you open it up, you need to take care of the start keeping the county, needs to keep our road up. And patrol it, because we're tired of the people flying. They fly up and up through there, through that dirt road. And our kids rode the school bus to school. We've lived there for 50 years. My wife's lived there all of her life. And our kids get off the school bus, and they're grown now. They had no problem getting off the school bus on Brooker Drive. And the walk is no further if they have to walk to their house from the edge of Brooker Drive, it would be from where they're talking about closing this road off. My problem is, the upkeep on that road has always been on us. And there was an older couple lived up there. The only traffic there was for them and us. Very little was had to be done to that road. But now, you know, they take wear. You know, you work with the county. Roads take wear. It just stays beat up all the time. He does grade it with his backhoe sometimes. But he takes the easement. He tells us he owns the property because there is a 30-foot right way, an easement. So he mows in our yard. He takes his grader and he stops the ditch up where the water, there's a ditch that comes from his property where water runs off his hill unto us. He's got it completely stopped up now. It should be routed around to the back of the county anyway, but it's not. But it's just that it's a private easement and it don't need to be made into a public road. And that's what it will turn into. It's what it has been lately. And we're just about tired of it because we've lived here and paid taxes for 55 years. It's since I've been working, so that's.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak one more time.
Come on.
I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here. That used to be closed. The guy was granted it being open. There used to be a fence there that had it closed. And so he was allowed to open it up by whatever channels it was. Now, as far as kids having a walk, when you go up Beulah Drive, all the streets on the left are dead-end streets. No bus goes down that. The kids have to walk or their parents drive them to the edge of the road to catch the bus. So the kids at the end of Beulah that live in that property are no better than the ones that have to walk from their street. Granted, they only have to walk a little ways. The other kids have to walk a good distance. So I think it needs to go back to where it used to be. It needs to be closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Cesar Maldonado. I do not live there, but my daughter does live at the end of Beulah. The only thing I could say for that comment, I am a friend of the owner there. He's not here because his wife passed away. But I would like to say that from my daughter, just she lives at the end of Beulah. Her distance from this bus stop, which is at the end of Beulah, to the end of the road, is half or even a third of what these kids have to walk to the houses. Their houses in the very back of the property. The only thing I can say, either whether you close it or open it, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, and I try to abide by the law and make sure that I try to do good for my community. And I can say that when I went to visit my friend there once, I've only been there once, I was harassed by a person, I don't know their name, I think it's a person that lives on that road. If you're coming, I can't remember exactly, I think it's Brooker Drive, right on that easement, it's like a 35-degree or 45-degree turn. You literally have to have some skill or be a race car driver to make that turn and then speed off, as they say. I've been down that road. I just don't see how you can literally turn on that road on a 45-degree and just, you literally have to try to do that on purpose, and I just don't see, the people are good people, they've done great for themselves, and their kids are very respectful. I just don't see somebody doing that, especially for me. So I can say whether he's open or closed, I'm forward to staying open because they actually helped my daughter in the past, but I would like to say that if the easement stays and that road is blocked off, the people that live on that road need to understand that people will have to travel on that road. And it's like anything else. They say there's wear and tear on the roads. Well, it's like that everywhere, whether it's just the easement or it's where I live at. It is what it is. So I would like that I haven't visited my friends since that day because I'm trying to avoid him the trouble of somebody going to his house, complain to him for me trying to visit my friends. So like they said, on marked cars, we have a lot of technology out there, and I'm pretty sure the county utilize that. That way it's not their word against somebody else's word. And that's all I got to say about that. Thank you so much.
Hello. Let me see. So my name is Luz Montoya, and I don't live around Beulah, but I am a realtor with Keller Williams. Here lately, there has been like 7 homes for sale, so you're gonna see a lot more traffic going around. I've hosted open houses. I see people just coming around just to take a look at the home. I've seen a lot of homes with multiple offers around that area, so obviously, you're gonna have a lot more traffic. I've represented Brigido Mesa. We had a public hearing last month where nobody came through, and it was set on the calendar for today. Unfortunately, his wife, like somebody mentioned, passed away. And Brigido has been there for 3 years. He has been, for all the neighbors that are here, he has been harassed for the last 3 years. Him and his wife, ever since they moved in, they have been harassed by the neighbors where he's got that easement. Before his wife passed away, which she was here last month, that was her worry, those neighbors harassing her children. And I get emotional because she was here, and she, in front of Tracy, their attorney mentioned that was one of her worries. Her children having to wait in front of those neighbors. They have called the cops about 21 times. No citations have been issued. I also spoke with one of the neighbors that lives on Avis, and she was not able to come here. She had a stomach bug or something like that. She said that her and her husband go through that property to get to the bus. It's easier for them due to all that traffic around to cross through Brigido Mesa's property and get out of the neighborhood. So it could be that person and other person that see it as a benefit too. So that's what I wanted to say. I really would like for you to keep it open for him and his children to avoid that situation with that neighbor. Thank you.
I'll have to cut you off, but go ahead.
Well, the music was so loud, we have called the cops, and they have come out there, and they know how loud it was. And to say that we hadn't called, and I think this guy did, we had called several times, and we were told we were not the only ones that called. And the cops know, they've been there, the county's been there. The music is so loud, we couldn't sit in the house and watch TV, because you hear this boom in your ear, boom, boom, and it don't stop. And it starts, and it's all day long. It starts maybe 1 o'clock in the evening, and it goes on to 10, 11 o'clock at night and later. So I just want to, she's talking about us harassing, we're the ones being harassed. They fly up and down the road, they play their music loud like that. So no, it's not us harassing them, we have been harassed by them. That's us that's been harassed, and yeah, we're fed up with it. And when, it's just, something needs to be done. The music toned down because we have called, and you've got records of it. I think they keep records at 911. And I know we brought a petition here because the people in the subdivision asked us to help. And I know that the petition had where we'd been and what had been called. So you can check back on that, but we're tired of the music, and it has died down some.
Good.
But then the traffic, and when they applied for it and didn't get their petition to have their event center up there, it got real bad. They'd fly in front of our house, and that's harassing us. We tried to let it go, you know, but I want to be a good neighbor, and I expected him to be a good neighbor, and I thought he was going to be when he started there. But I'm not a bad neighbor, and my wife's not a bad neighbor. But we're tired of being harassed. And people do fly up and down that road. Now, you ain't gonna come up that road like he's got turn 45 miles an hour. No, it is a hard turn in, and it's widened there now. And it's not a bad turn in. But still, you got, what, 100 feet you can fly in there? And for the kids walking from wherever, it's no further walking at Brooker Drive, up Livingston Way to their house than it is if they get off at the bus over there where they're talking about closing the road up. There's no difference in that distance. And no, we have not harassed their kids.
Okay.
And
Let's
I'm
move
tired
on
of being
to,
accused of that.
Yeah.
That's just a lie.
okay.
Bald-faced lie.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have one question. I don't.
Your name and address, please.
Mary Blair, Connie Drive. I don't understand, they're already building up there, so they are cultivating that. But people from Brooker Drive can start coming through there, through our neighborhood and vice versa. But why would they or anyone else want to come out our way and go to Cleveland Highway? You know I've been here trying to get a red light for that. Why do you want to go to Cleveland Highway? So close that thing, because we've not had any burglaries to speak of or anything, and you know and I know one way in and one way out helps that. So close it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something in the back?
Hello, my name is Daniel Montoya, and I don't live there, but the person that lives there is my uncle, Brigido Mesa. And that road, like, my dad is building a house on Avis Drive, and he takes that road because it's shorter for him. And, like, you know, it helps him waste waste less gas. And they're talking about the music being too loud. If you close that road, it's not gonna change nothing. The music gonna be the same. And when they called the police, because of the music, the police came to us and they told us they couldn't even hear it from over there. So I don't know what they're talking about. And if you close that road, it's gonna cause more people to go in through Earth Street, which is, they're not gonna like that even more. And yeah, like, they've been harassing my uncle, like, ever since he lived there, even before he opened the road. They've just been harassing him ever since. And, like, I don't know what traffic they're talking about, because the only people that pass by there is, like, family, because it is a private property. And the only people that pass by that road is family and people that have permission to go.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Yep, thank you. All right, we need to move on. Is there anyone that has any burning thing they need to say that's new that we haven't heard? Okay. Okay, we don't need to hear about music. We're not, we're only talking about the road, so let's do more music talk. But go ahead.
My name is Deborah Price. I live at 107 Hazel Drive, and my comments pertain to the traffic that I see traveling on Beulah. I do not see the other end from my front yard, but I do see all of that traffic flying up and down Beulah, and they've literally run right through the stop signs. They don't even slow down. And there have been police there to patrol to try to catch them, but they are obviously seen, so they aren't able to catch these people or put a stop to it. But my main concern is the small children. There are many small children and more moving in every day that live on Beulah and in other parts of our subdivision. if that highway, or I should say roadway, is open and people do start driving through there, I'm afraid it'll bring in more traffic and it'll be more dangerous for the children. As it is, coming in on Beulah off of Cleveland, it's only supposed to be 20, 25 mile an hour, but the children are running in and out across the street. You can't see them because they're coming out from behind bushes. It's really a dangerous situation, and I think it ought to be considered in part of the factor.
Okay, thank you. All right, we've got a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to move on. This is our second reading of both some subdivision regulations and also some changes to our ordinance about soil erosion and water control.
We'll make a motion to postpone those until next month.
We did want to have an additional hearing, I think, with some of the stakeholders, and we haven't had a chance to set that meeting up yet. So that's number 12 and 11. Motion by Commissioner Jones to postpone items 11 and 12 until we can have an additional meeting on those two. Second by Commissioner Thomas, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote to postpone. Next is our rezoning. There was 7, actually, so this is the first set of 3. There are 2 denials and 5 that were approved by the zoning board, including the denials that someone spoke on earlier on Doug Gap, or off of Doug Gap.
I make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission on all items.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to accept the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Board. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Staton. Taking these as a slate, is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We have a vehicle purchase on for our buildings and grounds, actually 2. One of them is replacing a 1998. I think we've gotten our money out of that one for 26 years. And an additional vehicle for inspections. These are on the state contract, which would be purchased through Ford of Dalton, but the pricing is through the state negotiated contract for $116. This will be on our 2024 capital, so we will either pay ourselves back or by the time they come in, that will have started in October either way.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay? Passes on a 4-0 vote. I have another one from Building and Grounds, our courthouse, our main building here. Sometimes government is not proactive, but I give our staff credit. We had some issues with the subsurface that we had to resolve last year that was dangerous, could have fallen off and hurt someone, but we got that resolved with the contractor's help. And now we noticed that also there is some caulking in a 20-year-old parking deck that needs to be replaced as well, just to keep out water and avoid future problems. So just trying to be proactive. It's a very nice parking deck that we have here right downtown Dalton for the courthouse and for restaurants in the area, and we want to keep it that way. Is there a motion to approve Tri-State Roofing to finish caulking the courthouse parking deck? Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We spoke about broadband earlier. This is a small step. It doesn't seem like sewers and broadband have much in common, but there's a lot you can't do as far as business and development without either one of those. And so Dalton Utilities has agreed to put in fiber to provide high-speed internet along with the sewer expansion on the west side along Crider Road up Mount Vernon towards the Miracle Park. We have the sewers, but the additional fiber would be $40,000 on the ARPA grants that we have to finish this year, as a matter of fact.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. This is our alcohol and beverage permit. There was no comments in our public hearing. Is there a motion to approve Brown's Convenience Store? I think they passed all the background checks, so we're good from that. That's the only other requirement. Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. And our road closure on Beulah Drive. We had a lot of input both this time and a little input from the previous meeting in June. Some in favor, a lot against. What do you guys think?
I'll make a motion to close it.
I would recommend that we close it to vehicle traffic. That's what we're doing. Is that all right, County? Can we do that and allow pedestrian traffic or others?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there's two parts to this. There's the closure as far as public right-of-way is concerned, and then abandonment. If you don't abandon it, then it just remains as a part of the platted subdivision as far as unopened right-of-way, but it's not open, it's not potentially open to the public. And so,
The
Mr.
landowner would have to decide who has permission to walk
Correct.
on it, like any
Right.
other
Well,
yard.
all the people who take their property under that subdivision plat would have,
Access. Oh, this is the whole neighborhood.
right,
Okay.
would have access to it.
Is that reasonable to put up a barrier that, and outlaw vehicle traffic, but allow pedestrian traffic?
You certainly can do that if you want to.
Okay, I don't know. That's just an idea. It's up to you guys. That's just the only thought I had on it. We do have, a
If somebody wants to walk from that property to the school bus and back, I mean,
it's up to the homeowner if he wants to keep it up where it's mowed and people can walk on it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Okay.
Sure. So the motion is to close the road, not abandon it, just to close it to the public.
And what,
close it to traffic.
traffic, through vehicle traffic, yes. Yeah.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to close Beulah Drive to vehicle traffic. Any further discussion? Want to make sure everybody's heard or has any other ideas. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We have our detention center. We have a partial grant for 3 new HVACs in our detention center, but we're $48,000 short. The grant didn't quite cover that. And so we are proposing to use ARPA money to finish the installation of those 3 units of $48,189. Different grant paid for the majority of it, called the COVID mitigation grant. Is there a motion to use $48,189 of ARPA to finish that? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Our senior center, we have 2020 SPLOS funds from the city of Dalton to continue the remodel, which we've already started in the public areas as well as the kitchen. So now is the second phase of the kitchen with several new ovens and skillets and serving counter. Is there a motion for $59,854 to purchase these appliances on the 2020 SPLOS?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, a frequent user of the senior center. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. I'm just making sure there's not a conflict of interest.
Commissioner and Mrs. Robbins.
Oh, right. Any further comments from the peanut gallery? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. A different parking deck. We've been repairing the deck with our landlord and other tenants in the Wells Fargo building. This is the second payment, I think the last payment, if I'm not mistaken, of $116,448 to the landlord to finish those repairs. Is there a motion begrudgingly to approve this?
Is this a progress payment? Is it?
Yeah, we made one in January, I think it was, and this is the second payment. Is in the lease agreement. Like I said, begrudgingly, per our contract, our lease contract.
Who in the world approved that?
I don't know. Some commissioners. I may have had some approval for that. Motion to approve the final payment, $116,448. I cannot make a motion.
Having choice, so moved.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. A motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Begrudgingly, yes.
A small second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Building inspection, there is a list of the new rates, but this is triggered by the state legislature. They passed a bill 461 in the last session. If you recall, we changed our building permit calculations in the fall, but we didn't realize that the House was going to take this up, and so now we have to obviously be in compliance with the state, which uses a per square foot metric. So for example, a 2,000 square foot house under the new fee structure would be $571 would be the building permits, which is a fraction of 1% of the total cost to build a 2,000 square foot house, I can assure you. So that is very similar to what it was before under that change we made last year. So we're not trying to increase the rates, but we just go per square foot, which is now state law for all counties. Motion to approve the revised fees.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. I mentioned earlier the fire department. I don't know why there was a rumor we weren't going to purchase these, but we're purchasing them early, if anything. So this was on the 2024 SPLOST, but these will take over or nearly a year to deliver these 4 pumper trucks. I appreciate the fire department putting together a team to try and come up with new ideas on how to equip these trucks and get us the best price before the increase, which is in January, and before we can get also a prepayment discount by going this route. But is there a motion to approve 4 pumper trucks for $3.19 million? Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Another change by the state legislature, Senate Bill 417, took effect July 1st also, moves the collection of fireworks, which is a little bit late for us this year, but it moves it if you want a permit to have a public display, such as they have at the parks in Cohutta and Dalton and other places, from I think it's a probate judge to our fire department. So it makes sense, since they have to respond to the calls if there's a fire, that they're aware of it and can collect those fees. No changing in the fees, but just who collects them to the fire department.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We always like to win grants, so we won an additional grant for our animal shelter for spaying and neutering. We did this earlier in the year, so this will be for the second half of the year. Motion to approve a grant of $4,000 from the Department of Agriculture. Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Our transit, no money involved in this one, but we have to adopt the Title IX non-discrimination to accept the federal funding. And so we do this every year, accept their guidelines or update them as necessary. That was in the packet as well. Motion to approve any updates to the Title IX to remain compliant.
Title VI.
Oh, Title VI. I'm not a Roman, Title VI. I thought that was an X.
We don't have a problem.
Title IX, that's women's sports. That's my daughter. Yep.
We're in favor of that, too.
We're all in favor of that. Title VI. Thanks for the correction. Motion by Commissioner Robbins for Title VI. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Parks and Recs, we had a storm, if everybody remembers, when it was like 6 inches. It came through, a lot of lightning and wind. It damaged one of our field lighting, LED lightings and poles. It's about $90,000 for each one of those poles, so you don't want that to happen too often. But we do owe the deductible of $25,000 to repair that pole and get us back into full lighting at the Riverbend Park.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Parks and Rec, another one. This is for Tunnel Hill. This is a commitment we made to help one of our cities with their SPLOST funding. And so this is $33,700 to repair their courts. I'm sorry, this is not going against the 2020 SPLOST. This will go against our general funds. There was nothing on the SPLOST to allow that, and they're out of money. So we're helping restripe the Tunnel Hill to be pickleball. Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Several budget amendments for Public Works related to our 30-mile goal that we have, which it looks like we might be able to beat that this year. We are ahead of schedule for the first 6 months. Weather's been obviously dry the last 5 or 6 weeks, and we've used up our LMIG money, and we've worked down our 2020, so now we're ready to move into our 2024, which of course starts in October, but we don't want to wait because we can't pave in the winter months. So if you guys are okay moving some of that 2024 money now, we can hopefully exceed our 30-mile goal for this year.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve budget amendments related to paving in the 2024 SPLOST by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. That's our last agenda item. Is there any public comments on other topics that weren't on the agenda?
My name is Mary Redwine, and I reside at 287 Tilton Road. Think this will be a little easier for you. We are a neighborhood with a concern, but we are a united neighborhood.
Okay.
And just like to, because I have a feeling that we're going to meet again on this, so I'd like for me to tell you a little bit something about me. I'm a community volunteer. I believe in giving back to my community. I've been Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Whitfield County Farm Bureau, a PTA president, a poultry farmer, a small business owner for 23 years. I'm a cousin, a niece, an aunt, a sister-in-law, a daughter, a grandmother, a mother, a wife, a cancer survivor, and a Christian. And I have a feeling that you guys will be dealing with me in the future, and I hope we can come to a nice resolution. We have a problem on our road. It's just 1.2 miles of road. And we are inundated with big trucks coming through. This is a result of, and I'll try to be nice here, okay? I've been told I'm a real blunt person, okay? I have found this is a problem for us because of poor planning for Old Dixie Highway. There has been huge development on Old Dixie Highway, and Tilton Road crosses Old Dixie. So it's really hard to get out onto the bypass from Old Dixie if you're turning left to go back to I-75. So instead, they're coming our way and coming up this little residential area. I've went around and talked with all my neighbors. I did not meet one person that did not sign my petition. And those are in your packets that you've been given tonight, those people, those residents. Everybody was like, yeah, something's got to be done. We're gonna have an accident too. On a Sunday afternoon in one of my neighbor's yards while I was taking this petition around, 3 transfer trucks came through, and none of them could maintain their lane in the curve there. So they're not gonna do that at any other day and time either, okay? So we're gonna end up with a real problem. And that's not even talking about the condition that the road will be in a year from now. Because on the other side of us, and none of us really understand how this happened, okay? We have 40-plus chicken houses, mega business poultry houses being put in. So As being a former poultry farmer, I know you've got the feed trucks coming through, trucks bringing your baby chicks out, or your older hens, roosters, if you're doing brooders. And if you are doing brooders and you have eggs, then you got transfer trucks coming in and picking up your eggs. So we are really gonna have a problem when those get operational. Some of them are now, but the majority of them are not. So we're really going to have a problem. We are a quiet little neighborhood. Our yards are maintained. We have gardens through there. My brother-in-law keeps our sides mowed. And up above us is people that are standing in the ditches to weed eat, to keep it looking nice, and to maintain flower gardens. But it's getting dangerous to go across the road to get your mail now. Or it's getting dangerous, especially to stand beside your mailbox and get your mail out. You can feel my driveway that has a little part that sets down off of the road. The road is up here. So I have a little entrance thing with a little split rail fence and 2 rose bushes at each. So when I go out there in the spring to start my weeding and put mulch out and everything, transfer trucks come by and they're up here and you can feel the wind off of them. It's an unsettling feeling. So all we're asking for is a sign that says no heavy trucks allowed. Single axle use only. It's nothing really complicated, nothing really expensive. And in the long run, it will save the county money because you're gonna take all that big, heavy traffic off of our road. They've already, they're the little things, you know, that you pump, pump, pump when you get out of your lane. Well, all those have been knocked out. I find them in my yard when I'm mowing. So we got a problem. And we are asking our commissioners to help us with this.
And I think you already gave the petition to Blanca.
I did.
Okay. And we have to, I agree, the cost of a sign is not very much, but we have to research and see if we can legally do that. That's not something we can do on every single road to put that sign up, so we have to research that to see
Can you
what's
tell me
allowed.
what goes behind that research?
Like court cases and laws, because there's some roads that you can't close because they impede interstate commerce, and then they'll just sue us, and then we'll have to take the signs right back down. So we just want to make sure that it's legal to restrict the traffic that way. It's not
Okay.
that we do or don't want to. We have to find out if it's legal on some roads. It may be, but I don't know.
So that would be your biggest concern is blocking commerce?
Well, it's not a concern. We can put the sign up, and somebody will sue us, and we'll just have to take the sign right back down. That's what the concern is.
On what grounds could they sue, though?
What I said, interstate commerce.
Okay, so.
It's a federal law. We can't violate the federal law to restrict
Okay, so
interstate commerce.
I have talked with my representative, Mr. Tarvin, his secretary.
Harvard? Okay.
I know, it's a little different. Greg is my commissioner, and we live on separate ends of the county, okay? So I don't know, a line got drawn. So anyway, she tells me today that she contacted GDOT for me.
Okay.
They have a liaison. I don't have that, so they were kind enough to do that for me. And their response was, this has to be done by your commissioners. And I told her, I said, they're going to want a roundabout at the bypass or red light, and they're gonna want a roundabout at 41 and Cross Plains. If y'all need help getting that done, I'll be glad to come and help you. But right now, that's not my fight, okay? And I'm serious about that. If you need help getting those things
I
accomplished.
appreciate it. I've already contacted our state senator on that, so, and GDOT, so I agree with you on that. I might call you on that later, but, yeah, like
I'll
I
be
said, that's a
glad to
separate
make
issue.
calls and go, and,
Because that does fix the issue completely.
no, it doesn't. No, it will not it might help us 90%.
90%.
I'm not looking for 90%. I want 100% of no big trucks through there.
Okay.
I don't find that unreasonable, okay? So if you need help with this, call me, because my neighbors are behind me on this. Whatever it takes to get this done, we will do it, okay? And, Mr. Smalley, if you can tell me a legal reason that it can't be done, then we will approach that and see if we can't fight that, okay? That's how far we will go with this, okay?
Definitely look into it.
All right, thank you very much. Was there any questions from you guys from the packet I gave you from, that has the maps in it? Oh, and Mr. Sevick, is that?
Civic, yeah.
Your comments earlier about the Dalton Utilities broadband, may I address that while I have your ear?
That's the I made that comment.
Okay.
Just because they do the sewers, they put the fiber in.
That 1.2 miles of Tilton Road is the only road that does not have broadband internet.
Oh, yeah. Well, not the only one in the county. We got a lot up north as well. We got a lot of problems that we're trying to.
Right in that area, I mean, it comes down
You're one of them,
41
though.
Yes.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt
That
it.
one little 1.2 miles.
Because they got it all around you is what you're saying.
Yep.
Yep.
So if that could be
We
addressed.
are working on it, and you're not alone.
Yeah, you're definitely not
Okay.
alone. But I understand you're an island down there, but there's other
Well,
islands.
we've been told that it's in no plans to have it there.
Yeah, we're trying to push them. That's why.
Anymore.
Yep, we're working with them.
Your planning commission, that brings me to another thing. The planning commission that was formed in Whitfield County, you certain ones serve on it, right? And then people from the state level also.
Oh, the strategic comprehensive plan. Yes, that was last
Yes.
fall, correct. Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
So see, none of this was in those plans. I looked it up and read all, what was it?
200 pages.
Yes, 270-something pages.
I appreciate
And there was
You're a good civic
nothing.
citizen to go through that. Thank you.
Well, I'm serious about what I'm asking here.
I agree.
So there was no mention of anything about Old Dixie Highway being widened. There's no mention in there of keeping Tilton Road as a small county road, not a it makes no sense, but anyway, your plan did not address any of these situations that we are having since those big, huge industries went in over there on Old Dixie.
And that's the GPS
And-
that sends them down that way. Their GPS does.
Right, and
I
so
get
if my road is deemed no heavy trucks, single axle only, GPS,
Supposed to update eventually.
it will update
Yep.
and it will send them around.
Correct.
So that would solve everybody's problem, and you won't have to meet me again unless you want some help with something.
I'm happy to meet you anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all familiar with me? Richard Holland. I spoke to you about our issue. Where my house is, if you come down that straightaway, them trucks thinks it's a drag strip down through there. And they hit their Jake brakes right at my house. All 24 hours a night. And it's the LX Pontos that's up there in that new subdivision right behind the Samsung business. They run in Uber Freight, U-Ship situation where they get these trucks that's, god-awful looking trucks. And if you know anything about trucks and you know a steer tire breaks, that thing's gonna come straight through my house. And I promise you, you better hope nobody gets killed or if it's gotta get blood on their hands. I sent you a picture and showed you of that truck in Pennsylvania that went through that house. All we would need is a sidewalk down through there and guardrails to help prevent that situation. I've got more people walking through my front yard because nobody feels safe to walk on the side of Tilton Road anymore. I can't even sit at my house without everybody coming in staring at me through my front door because they can't walk on the road because of the trucks. I'm trying to check my mail. There's nothing on the other side. Them trucks don't even move. They about run over me trying to check my mail. All of y'all are happy about approve. Let's zone these big manufacturer warehouses. Let's put the big chicken houses down Tilton, Old Dixie. Let's take care of all these other situations. You don't think about us. We voted to put y'all in office to serve us. We need somebody to represent us. I've been dealing with this situation since December, and you know you got the email tracks on it
Like
where
all
I've
of
done
them.
it.
Yeah.
And this is not a laughing matter. My little grandkids can't even walk out in the yard because guess what? They're afraid a truck might hit them because you don't know. When we bought our house, it was just a little road. We didn't have all this. Yeah, let's put these big manufacturers in little farm communities.
with these little narrow old Dixie Highway. You should at least thought of the infrastructure and got the roads big enough for these trucks. You should have got the red lights in place. We should have got everything in place before we approve. Now we got chicken trucks coming out of the south. We got these trucks coming out this way. You got the sod company. You got DuPont coming out of the lower Tilton. Our road looks like I-75, 24/7. It never stops. I mean, you can ask everybody in here that lives on Tilton Road, and they all verify I am not lying. Tilton Road is hell right now, and I promise you, you come down there and live, none of you would want this in your neighborhood. I promise you, you would never want to the point where you cannot feel comfortable at your own house. We all have a tight-knit community, born and raised right in that neighborhood. My whole 48 years of my life, I've been in that one spot because you know what? I love the south end of the county. I'm proud to say I went to Southeast Whitfield. I went to Valley Point. But guess what? Now I'm embarrassed for anybody to come to my house because you can't have a conversation because trucks going boom, 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 hitting their darn jack brakes because they think it's a dang drag strip getting to the roundabout. We've got to have some help. I've been passed around like a fine glass of wine. I went from you all the way to Brian Kemp. I've been to Marjorie Taylor. I've been to Steve Tarvin. I've been to everybody. We vote for you officials to represent us. We have nobody to cover us. Everybody says, well, talk to this person, talk to this person. I spoke to all of you. Nobody wants to represent us. We got to have some representation that represents us. Don't worry about them big companies that's padding everybody's pockets with millions of dollars because that ain't even right. Because them companies, they was not here. We was here before those companies ever thought about coming in town. They come in town, now it's like, oh, well, we got to take care of them. We ain't worried about all of y'all. Because they could put a sign and tell all traffic to hit Cross Plains and get out. There's no residential houses on Cross Plains. There's no residential all the way up to the bypass that affects. But guess what? Now we're getting 90% of the traffic every day, all day, 24/7. At least when the trash trucks were there at 6 o'clock, guess what? The dump closed. We had a nice and peaceful evening from 6 o'clock to the next morning. Now, since you got these companies up there running 24/7, it's all day. I take my dog out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't even walk my dog because I'm getting buzzed by trucks coming up and down that road. Used to every morning. It was a nice, peaceful morning. You get your walk in, no problem. Oh, now I can see the sidewalk. It ended 3 houses down from me. All I'd ask, bring that sidewalk on down to Sherwood Forest, put us some guardrails up so we at least feel a little safe down there. If they can't shut the situation down, at least give us some protection, a little bit of buffer to protect us in our homes. Because you've seen how that truck was, and if anybody up here studies, steer tires is 90% of all truck problems. And you lose a steer tire, you have no control over your truck, and you're going to go through somebody's house or you're going to kill somebody. They're going to be some innocent people. And I hate to be the one to come back up here with a newspaper showing deaths on Tilton Road because of these trucks. They go down through here and knock down mailboxes. You ask how many people's had their mailboxes knocked down through here. They all tell you right here, all of our mailboxes have been mowed down because these trucks. Our road, Tilton Road, is not wide enough for tractor and trailers. There's too many sharp curves. When they're coming off of Old Dixie turning right, there's no turning lane. They're in the other lane. So when you're on Tilton going south, there's a sharp curve right there. I seen a car within 100 yards hit a tractor and trailer head on right there because that truck has to swing so far out to get on Tilton to go on toward the interstate. Because that curve, car coming around there, boom, here's tractor and trailer sitting in their lane because there's no turning lane right there. Our whole infrastructure is messed up down on that end. From Cross Plains all the way down to the interstate, that whole section is all messed up because now, like I say, you got trucks on the north coming in, you got trucks on the south, and you got coming up Tilton. It's just wide open like interstate through there now. I promise. I invite any one of y'all come to my house, I'll fix you some sweet tea, and you sit in my yard, and you'll flip out when you see the mess that's going on down in Tilton. Tilton is unreal. You ask anybody in here, they'll all vouch for it. All of us, we've lived there because we love Tilton Road. But we got to have somebody that stands up and say, this is not right. We got to have somebody to go to these big companies and say, look, your trucks can't go through these neighborhoods and terrify these people. They can't even have a peaceful night at their house no more because you sit on the couch in them trucks, boom, 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 on their jack brakes all the time because they're going 90 miles an hour down that road. The police shows up, but I don't ever see him do nothing. He sits out there on that roundabout watching cars go by, but I don't see him pulling no trucks over. You said call the law. Well, you call them. I don't see nothing. Nothing ain't deterred the trucks from what they're doing. It's every day, 24/7. Since they opened that newest place, it's nonstop. And anybody in this room that lives on Tilton will tell you, it's nothing changed.
Told you I was the nice one, okay? He's exactly right about everything he said, okay? But again, we're not looking for a sign that says no Jake breaks. We're looking for a sign that says no heavy trucks,
Those are already outlawed. Okay.
okay? And what he's talking about with the sidewalk, the lady's house that I was talking about where I was standing, getting the petition signed, the erosion has eat away at the pavement to where there is actually underneath the pavement now, and that's where those big trucks are traveling. Somebody needs to come and pay attention to us, okay?
I'm Terry Shelton. I've lived on Tilton Road for 40-plus years. And I live right in that curve, the 10th house from the roundabout. And there ain't no shoulder on the road. And them trucks comes down through there, just like he said. Jake breaks. I mean, buddy, we can't even pull out of our road because I'm right in the curve there, if you know where 201 Tilton Road is. And I'm telling you, we can't even pull out. They nearly hit us. All right, 2 trucks was meeting. They slammed their brakes on 3 mailboxes in the last 8 months. They've ripped them, and that's about $130 if you put up a decent mailbox. And you know, we're just asking y'all to do something and help us. And I mean, you know, I ain't no better than nobody else. But you know, it is really, and them Jake breaks like he said, and if we could stop the heavy trucks coming down through there and turn them down 41 and go to Cross Plains and then go over yonder, that would be great if y'all'd help us. Thank you.
I'm Willard Redwine, 287 Tilton Road. I can't top any of that, but it's all true. But I think for you guys, the most important thing to remember is the structure's already there to take care of what we need with Cross Plains Boulevard, if they have to use it, the south bypass to get over to Old Dixie, either from 401 Highway, coming around the other way or whatever. I know that's a debacle if they're coming west. I understand that. But, and that's down the road though. If they put in a roundabout there or a light even on the south bypass, that's, I don't know. But anyway, the point being, the structure's already there with the roads to handle traffic like that. Cross Plains, there's no residences on it. And the same, or you can drive a short distance on up the road to Connector 3, turn right and go down the south bypass, 4-lane road, you know, that was, I think, that's why we built those, just to handle heavy traffic. Short distance to Old Dixie. I hate what's happened to Old Dixie personally as far as the industry, but that's already done, so that will be something that has to be dealt with as far as roads in the near future to handle the traffic. But the structure's already there to handle our situation. It's not something, and what we're talking about doing, if, I know you have to check it out, I understand that. If it's legal, so to speak, then, but it should be an easy decision, common sense decision for the time being until some of this other stuff is done. The structures and roads are already there.
Anyone else for tonight? All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Commissioner Jones.
And my name is Sandra Stone Ellis. I live on Camden Way in Dalton. And what I wanted to speak to you tonight about is the other side of Tilton, which is Carbondale. And I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Carbondale community and those in opposition of the rezoning to M2 heavy manufacturing. I had asked for a meeting with Commissioner Robbins, but it was postponed to include Carl Campbell to attend, although I'm not sure exactly why. Our concerns still have not been heard. My family, the Stones, were among those who helped create the Carbondale and Redwine Cove community, which is now well over 100 years old. I still have family members who live in the community where we were raised. It has a history and an environment in the cove which will be destroyed if the rezoning takes place. Our understanding is that there is currently a 20-year development plan for industrial purposes and heavy manufacturing, which means it will totally destroy the integrity of the community. There are homes and lives and families being affected by this. Engineered floors and Dixie bricks have already done enough to take away the country flavor of the community that we enjoyed. Traffic by trucks is causing traffic concerns which were already quite heavy due to many residencies on Carbondale. This has created safety concerns as well. Many people were not properly or adequately notified of the rezoning actions. A single small rezoning sign was placed 35 feet from the road, and it was not adequate. It was too small. Some people didn't even notice that there was a sign there because it was so far from the road. To my knowledge, this was the only notification prior to coming before the commissioners to be voted on. We know in this county money talks and usually gets what it wants, which makes people suspicious of what and how things happen. The people of Carbondale do not have as many zeros in their bank accounts as the developers, community leaders, Shaw, Dosha, or Acre. So money talks. Do we really need more flooring businesses for the sake of a dollar? Destruction of a community. Many of us, like myself, were not properly or adequately notified of this endeavor and were not present at the June 10th meeting. There are simply too many concerns about this plan and future plans to be ignored. So I respectfully admonish the commissioners to give us another chance to voice our concerns about what's being done in the Carbondale and Red Wine Cove community. Thank you.
She brings up a question that I have for you, Mr. Jensen. Can you explain to me how zoning notices are done nowadays?
Posting, like she said, with that yellow sign for, I believe it's 30 days, and then you should have gotten a mailer, Gene, to everybody within a mile gets a mailer? Adjacent property, okay.
All right, so how much would it cost this county, which obviously we have some money in reserves? How much would it cost, and Blanca may be able to answer this, to put out a mailer to everybody in a 25-mile radius instead of adjacent properties? I mean, it affects the whole community.
That would get
The whole county is
be
only
the whole
25
county.
miles.
It cost
But you're
about-
saying a bigger area.
It costs a lot of money just to send out the tax notices, so I know it.
50,000 or something?
No, it's more than that.
Oh, is it?
I know postage is
figures,
expensive,
yeah.
like everything else, but this is, our properties and, like she said, our neighborhood values that are being kind of destroyed here. And like those big businesses that went in and those chicken houses, none of my
None of
neighbors
that
or
required,
myself.
that didn't require rezoning. That was already
They were already zoned.
zoned that way. Even those warehouses that everybody's upset about, those, to my knowledge, didn't require rezoning. They were already zoned that way. They just built them.
Okay.
You zoned it from agriculture to heavy manufacturing. I was at the meeting when y'all zoned it before they built the buildings. Because they was residential houses there. There was not no commercial buildings on down through Old Dixie
Yeah,
down through there.
as a matter of fact, a historical house was taken down to build
Eagle
those.
House,
I don't know how that happened. I don't understand how.
That was not
Yeah,
agriculture. That wasn't-
so, I mean, okay, a 5 square mile, anybody around instead of just the adjacent properties, because like she said, that wasn't an adequate, notice of something major changing. And when did it change that many poultry houses could be put on those sizes of properties. Because I've been out of the poultry business for quite a while, 20,
Poultry company decides how many, they don't let that many houses on one piece of property.
well, see, it used to be when, now, guys, this is showing my age here, okay? When the county was first zoned, I was asked, because I served on a committee at Whitfield County Farm Bureau, I was asked to work with our county commissioners on the zoning. And everybody was like, no zoning. Well, that couldn't happen. That meant we wasn't gonna get any state funds. So we had to accept that there was going to be zoning in our county. But at that point in time, it wasn't the integrators that told you how many poultry houses you could have. It was the county. You could only have 2 on a 5-acre plot. So that has changed since zoning has come in. But you might want to look at that and rethink it as a body of government.
I think there was someone else who hadn't had a chance to speak yet.
Elizabeth Pulliam, 280 Carbondale Road. Everything that Ms. Stone Ellis had mentioned, I actually mentioned a month ago at that meeting with the planning people. Totally shut down. It was already a decision made. Every time I've been up here, I've tried to be nice, tried to be a little classy about it and not go off, but everybody's kind of allowed to do that now. But everything that was said, especially with like North Dug Gap in that area and everything, same thing happening in our area. Except not just a duplex is going in. Heavy manufacturing is going into a residential area. That was zoned for heavy manufacturing. We don't even know how the commercial got in there for John Anderson's cinch. But now we've got transfer trucks already from Engineered Flooring. But we know that was a failed project for the interstate for Bob Shaw to have his own personal on and off ramp when that was supposed to be done. So he had actually instructed a lot of trucks to come through that area. Well, now with this heavy manufacturing, we're going to get to see that many more. I live on the other side of a dangerous curve as well. There's seven mailboxes there. And there is no, 35 miles an hour. No. You're lucky if you have to know, seeing the reflection, thankfully, in the warehouse up there of what might be coming around the curve before you even try to check your mailbox. So there's no consideration for residential that's in that area. Carbondale, even in your own website information, the historic community of Carbondale. We also fit in with interchange, but we're also residential. You're supposed to merge the two if you're going to. Heavy manufacturing going into a residential area that's on our end right there, no, that should not even be. Don't even know how you're gonna work it around the church and the graveyard, even when you expand it from a 2-lane to a 4-lane. And once again, I'm for the same thing. Yes, when's enough for some of these people and the money going in their pocket? Okay, I'd rather live in a tent on my 5 acres of land as opposed to a $400,000 house, which I've actually seen you come into these meetings, somebody wanting to put a double wide. Heaven forbid a double wide is anywhere in sight of a very expensive subdivision. And you declined it. Same thing as far as with Dugout. There's already a duplex there. That R6 allowed for duplex, triplex, and quadplexes. They were asking for it to go up to R7. Can't do that. Same designation, but they can go ahead and do it when it's attached. So why, I don't understand. It's not large enough to have all this big expansion that is supposed to be out there. It's a double standard, and it needs to stop. Just because, like I said, as I told her, I'm sorry, I don't have enough zeros in my bank account to buy a politician. I'm sorry, I don't. But just leave us alone. If you're not gonna do anything beneficial for us down there, don't put all the crap down there on us. Just leave us alone like you've been doing for everything else. That's all we ask.
also like to make a comment about the churches down there. There's Swamp Creek Baptist Church, there's Cove Church, and there's also a cemetery in the Red Wine Cove. These cemeteries are really, really old. I have great-grandparents that are buried in, and grandparents that are buried in these cemeteries. And I'm very concerned about expanding the road through there, what it's going to do to this. This is family. This is home and lives that are being destroyed because of manufacturing. And I'm just a little bit hurt that it goes on and on and on, and that the Carbondale community gets no attention. The Tilton community, it's just like the south end of the company is a dumping ground for whatever y'all want to do. And it's very painful. It hurts. These are people's lives. And y'all need to think about that. Y'all are elected officials. You're supposed to be working for the good of everyone that you serve, everyone in this county. So thank you.
Hey, I'm going to say something, and I hope that I don't offend anyone, but with everything that I'm hearing here, last month we had that public hearing of closing Beulah. Nobody came in. No one that was against it came in. It was put on the calendar to give everyone an opportunity. I tried to reschedule that because his wife passed away, and it was not able to reschedule it. They were not able to reschedule it. So with that being said, I just wanted to mention that just because, I mean, I think things should be equally. If it was put on the calendar just because nobody showed up, they failed to show up to their hearing, give them an opportunity. Brigido's wife passed away, and we couldn't reschedule it. So just hearing all these things just came up to my mind, and like I said, I mean, I'm sorry if I disrespect you guys, but that was just something that I wanted to mention.
No more repeats. This is. We've
I wanted to say this before also, is one other thing that I see that tends to be something in being here. There seems to be a difference between a white issue and a brown issue. And I don't like that either.
It's not coming from here, so that's all I can say. Anyone else like to speak?
That's low.
Hey, y'all. Some of y'all know me. My name's Lisa Adams. I live at 4305 North Jimmy Drive. I've been a resident of Whitfield County for 50-plus years. I was recently made aware of the rezoning to heavy manufacturing at Carbondale Road. I'm here on behalf of the South End folks. Developers, real estate brokers, bankers, and many other people in power are all in charge of changing this area. And this change is definitely for the worse. For the ones that think the South End doesn't matter, we're a community that was raised on ethics, values, and morals. I look at the decisions of this board, and I see none of those traits. For a community that is over 100 years old, not to matter to any of our commissioners is shameful. It says a lot about who you are and how you view the true roots of our county. I realize that you have your agenda and your minds are made up. You 7 people made life-changing decisions for people on the South End. Now grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on, that want to raise their children in a healthy, non-poisonous environment will never have that opportunity. Wild animals and waterways will be greatly affected. Thank you, Whitfield County Commissioners, for your dedication to the people. I realize that we just had an election cycle, and we'll have another one coming up soon. Those that are seated, you better buckle up. Better yet, you might want to loosen your seatbelt. Don't plan on getting elected another term because we're fed up. A lot of people in this room don't realize it, but y'all were reprimanded this year and censured by the GOP. As an elected official, you have an opportunity to represent the will of the majority of your constituents. By voting in their best interest and supporting policies that benefit the most people, you can make a positive impact on our community and our country. I urge you to listen to the voices of those you serve and work for. Thank you.
Darrell Long, Troy Lane, 4310. I appreciate all these people being here. I love it. But I've been attending these meetings for 16 years, and a lot of times, me and this man right here will be the only one sitting there that ain't a commissioner or work for commissioners. So if the people of this county want to have a real vested interest and get something done in this county, my suggestion is you show up to all the meetings.
Anyone else? All right, going once, twice. We have a motion to adjourn. Thank you.